At her friend's bachelorette party, a stranger shows up and pulls her into a kiss. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's story, I have a small favor to ask. Please hit subscribe and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our channel's new videos. It is quick, free, and the best way to support us in bringing you more dramatic stories. Your support means the world to us. Where are you watching from? Drop your city or country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let us go back to our main character. She is standing under pink and purple lights, music thumping through the walls, laughter spilling from every corner of the room. The bachelorette party is already in full swing. Balloons brush the ceiling. Glitter catches in the air. Someone is chanting the bride's name near the bar. Everything about the night is loud, bright, and slightly out of control. She forces a smile and lifts her drink, but her shoulders are tight. She is happy for her friend, truly. Still, there is a quiet knot in her chest that will not loosen. Nights like this remind her of everything she is supposed to have figured out by now, and everything she is not. She tells herself to breathe. One night. Just get through one night. Then she hears it, her name. It cuts through the music like a blade. She turns, and there he is. Someone she did not expect to see here. Someone who should not be here at all. His presence pulls the air out of the room. Conversations stall. Eyes flicker between them. The moment stretches, heavy and exposed. He smiles in a way that feels too sharp, too familiar. He steps closer, saying something that sounds polite enough to anyone listening. To her, it feels like pressure, like a trap snapping shut. She opens her mouth to respond, to defend herself, to explain, but she never gets the chance. A hand touches her waist, warm, certain. Before she can process what is happening, a stranger steps between them. He smells faintly of clean soap and night air. He is tall enough that she has to tilt her head to see his face. His suit does not scream for attention, but it fits him like he belongs anywhere he stands. His eyes meet hers for a split second, steady and unreadable. Then he pulls her in. The kiss is quick, confident, and deliberate. Not rushed, not sloppy, just real enough to make the room go silent. Gasps ripple around them. Someone laughs nervously. Someone else claps. The music seems suddenly too loud, then too far away. Her heart slams against her ribs. He leans in just enough for only her to hear him. "Play along," he whispers. "Trust me." She should push him away. She should demand answers. She should be furious. Instead, she freezes. Because the man who called her name is staring now, stunned and embarrassed, his confidence evaporating under the weight of what he is seeing. Because the room has already decided on a story, and for the first time tonight, she is not the one standing alone. The stranger's hand remains steady at her back, anchoring her. He smiles at the crowd like this is the most natural thing in the world, like he belongs here with her, like they walked in together. Someone shouts a question. Someone else whistles. The bride squeals and rushes forward, demanding introductions. She hears her own voice answer, surprising even herself. Calm, casual, convincing. The stranger squeezes her hand once, subtle but reassuring. And just like that, with one unexpected kiss, her night takes a turn she never saw coming. She does not know his name. She does not know why he stepped in. She does not know that this moment is about to pull her into a world far bigger and far more dangerous than this glitter-filled room. All she knows is this. Nothing about her life is going to be simple after tonight. The room slowly exhales, as if everyone has decided to accept what they just saw. Music swells again. Laughter creeps back in. Someone shouts, "Finally!" like this was a reveal they had been waiting for all night. The bride rushes over, eyes wide, grabbing her arm with squeals and questions layered on top of each other. "How did you not tell me? How long has this been going on? Why is he so quiet and mysterious?" She laughs because laughing is easier than explaining. The stranger keeps his arm comfortably around her, not possessive, just present. When he speaks, his voice is calm, warm, measured. He introduces himself without giving too much away, just enough to sound convincing. People nod. People smile. The moment settles. Only when the crowd pulls them apart does she finally get a second to breathe. She leans closer to him, lowering her voice. "What was that?" He glances at her, just briefly, then back at the room, like he is calculating something in real time. "I am sorry," he says. I know that was sudden, but you looked like you needed an exit. I did not ask for a stranger to kiss me. I know, he replies. That is why I said play along. It ends when you want it to. She studies him now, really studies him. He does not look smug. He does not look amused. If anything, he looks focused, like someone who is used to walking into pressure and managing it quietly. Why help me? She asks. Before he can answer, someone calls his name from across the room. The tone is respectful, curious, not casual. She notices it, the way people look at him, the way they shift slightly when he moves past. He is not loud, not flashy, but there is something about him that commands space. They step aside near the bar, the music a dull thrum behind them. He finally meets her eyes fully. I needed help too, he says, just for tonight. She lets out a short laugh. That makes two of us. He explains quickly, keeping it simple. There is a family expectation he is trying to avoid, a conversation he does not want to have tonight. Walking in alone would have invited questions. Walking in with her ended them instantly. So, he says, if you are willing, we pretend for the rest of the night. We leave separately, no strings, no drama. She hesitates. This is not her style. She does not make deals with strangers. She does not play roles she cannot control. But the alternative is walking back into a room where she will be questioned, pitied, and judged all over again. How convincing do you need me to be? She asks. He smiles, just slightly. Only as convincing as you are comfortable with. They set the rules quickly, quietly, like two people negotiating something fragile. No lying about her background, no explanations about the future, no touching unless necessary, and when she says stop, it stops. He agrees without hesitation. They return to the party together, and this time she notices how seamlessly he moves. He listens more than he speaks. When he does speak, people lean in. When someone makes an offhand comment that could have embarrassed her, he redirects it smoothly, never making a scene, never drawing attention to the save. She is surprised by herself, by how natural it starts to feel standing beside him, by how little she feels like she is pretending. At one point, someone offers her a drink she does not want. He notices before she speaks and declines politely for her, citing an early morning. No explanation, no pressure. She looks at him, caught off guard. Thank you. He shrugs. You looked uncomfortable. It is such a small thing, and yet it lands. As the night goes on, the energy shifts. The questions fade. The tension eases. For the first time since she arrived, she feels invisible in the best way, protected, without being owned. She reminds herself this is temporary. Still, when the music slows and the lights dim just a little, she realizes something unsettling. This fake thing they agreed to is starting to feel dangerously real, and she has no idea who he truly is. They do not make a formal announcement, but somehow everyone seems to know. By the time the bride pulls her back onto the dance floor, introductions have already spread through the room. She hears her name paired with his in passing conversations, spoken casually, confidently, like it has always been that way. She keeps waiting for the feeling to collapse, for the awkwardness to rush back in. It does not. When she needs air, he notices before she asks. They slip out through a side door into the warm night, the noise of the party fading behind them. The city hums around them, distant traffic, a burst of laughter from somewhere down the block. She folds her arms, suddenly aware of how fast her heart is still beating. This is getting bigger than I expected, she says. He nods. I know. She turns to him. If this is going to keep going, I need clarity. He does not deflect. He does not joke. He leans back against the brick wall, giving her space, like he understands exactly what she is asking for. Then let us be clear, he says. This is a temporary arrangement, nothing more. She waits. For the rest of the night, he continues, we play the role. Tomorrow, we go back to our lives. No contact unless you want it. No obligations. And why would you want this? She asks. This time he hesitates. Not long. Just enough to be human. Because walking into rooms alone invites questions I do not want to answer right now, he says. And because people stop asking them when I am not alone. She studies his face in the low light. There is something guarded there, controlled. Not cold, but carefully contained. "So I am a shield," she says. He does not deny it. "Yes, and I know that is not a small thing to ask." She exhales slowly. The honesty disarms her more than any charm would have. "What exactly are you proposing?" she asks. He meets her gaze. "A simple agreement. We finish the night together. We leave separately. If anyone asks later, we were just having fun, nothing more." "And the kissing?" she asks, raising an eyebrow. A faint smile touches his mouth. "Only if absolutely necessary." She laughs despite herself, a real laugh this time. The tension loosens, just a little. "Okay," she says after a moment, "but there are rules." "I expected that. No lying about who I am," she says. "No promises about the future, and no surprises like the first one." He nods immediately. "Agreed. And one more thing," she adds. "If at any point I say stop, we stop. No explanations required." "Of course," he says. "You are in control." Something about the way he says it makes her believe him. They go back inside. The party has shifted into a different rhythm now, looser, warmer. People are less guarded, more honest. Someone hands him a drink. He accepts it, then quietly switches glasses with her when she realizes she grabbed the wrong one. He does it so smoothly, no one notices. It is the small things that start to get to her, the way he listens when she speaks, even when someone more important interrupts. The way he positions himself just slightly between her and anyone who makes her uncomfortable. The way he never once talks down to her, never tries to impress her. At one point, someone asks how they met. He looks at her, waiting. She answers, simply, honestly enough to be believable. No one questions it. As the night stretches on, she catches glimpses of the world he moves in, subtle signs of money, of influence, of expectations pressing in from all sides. And yet, when he looks at her, none of that is there. Just attention, just presence. She reminds herself again that this is an agreement, a role, a performance. But when his hand brushes hers as they pass through the crowd, the contact lingers a fraction of a second longer than necessary. She pulls her hand back, gently but firmly. He notices, immediately. "Too much?" he asks quietly. She shakes her head. "Just reminding myself." He gives a small nod. "Me too." And in that moment, standing shoulder to shoulder in a room full of noise and light, they both understand the same thing. This arrangement may have clear rules, but rules have a way of blurring when emotions start to surface. The night begins to thin, the way parties always do after the peak has passed. Shoes come off, voices grow hoarse, laughter turns softer, more honest. Someone starts gathering gifts near the corner, and the bride disappears into a tight circle of friends, glowing and tearful. She finds herself standing near the edge of the room with him, both of them watching rather than participating now. "This is usually the part where people start oversharing," she says quietly. He smiles. "I tend to leave before that." She glances at him. "You do not seem like someone who stays late at parties." "I do not," he admits. "I stay long enough to fulfill expectations." There is that word again, expectations. They drift toward the hallway lined with framed photos and soft lighting, away from the noise. The shift is subtle, but immediate. Fewer eyes, fewer assumptions, just the two of them, and the quiet hum of the building settling for the night. "This is where it ends, right?" she asks. "The agreement." "Yes," he says. "We finish the night, then we go our separate ways." She nods, even though something in her chest tightens at the thought. She does not like that reaction, so she pushes past it. "Good," she says. "Clean and simple." He studies her for a moment. "You do not actually believe that." She looks away. "I believe it has to be." They stand there, the unspoken stretching between them. "You handled everything well tonight," he says. "You did not let anyone diminish you." She lets out a quiet breath. That is not usually how people see it. "How do they see it?" he asks. She hesitates, then answers honestly. "Like I am someone passing through, temporary, easy to overlook." He does not interrupt. He does not offer reassurance right away. He just listens. "I did not feel like that tonight," she adds, "and that matters more than I want it to." His expression softens, just slightly. "I am glad." They walk back toward the entrance together. Outside, the night air is cooler, calmer. The street is quieter now, traffic thinning, neon signs flickering in the distance. She pauses near the curb. "This is me." He nods. "Do you want me to call you a ride?" "I can manage," she says. Then, after a beat, "But thank you." They stand there, neither quite ready to step away. "For what it is worth," he says, "I meant what I said earlier. You were in control tonight." She meets his eyes. "Then let us end it the same way." She extends her hand, a clear boundary, a clean ending. He takes it, firm but respectful. "Agreed." They release each other. She takes 2 steps away before stopping. She does not turn back, but she speaks anyway. "You never told me your last name." There is a pause behind her. "No," he says, "I did not." She smiles to herself, probably for the best. She walks away, heels clicking softly against the pavement, telling herself that this is exactly how it should end. Behind her, he watches until she disappears around the corner. For the first time all night, he does not move right away, because something about this agreement feels unfinished, and neither of them realizes yet that tonight was not the end of their arrangement. It was only the beginning. Morning arrives quietly, without drama. She wakes to the soft buzz of her phone alarm and the familiar ceiling above her bed. No glitter, no music, no stranger standing too close. Just the steady rhythm of her own life returning exactly where she left it. For a moment, she wonders if last night felt bigger than it really was. Then her phone lights up again, a message from an unknown number. "I hope you got home safe." She stares at the screen longer than she should. She did not give him her number. She is certain of that. Before she can overthink it, another message appears. "You mentioned your ride usually runs late in the mornings. I thought you might appreciate a heads up." She exhales, half amused, half unsettled. "How did you get this number?" she types back. The reply comes quickly. "You left it on the receipt at the bar when you paid for your drink. I only noticed after you walked away." She shakes her head despite herself. Careless. Or maybe she wanted him to have it. She does not answer right away. At work, the day pulls her in. Emails, small frustrations, conversations that skim the surface. Yet her mind keeps drifting back to the way he stood beside her without taking over. The way he noticed things before she said them out loud. At lunch, her phone vibrates again. "No pressure," the message reads. "Just wanted to say thank you for last night." She types and deletes twice before settling on something simple. "You are welcome." It was unexpected. A pause. Then, "Would you like coffee sometime?" No roles, no pretending. Her instinct is to say no. This was not part of the agreement. The agreement ended cleanly, just like she wanted. And yet, she finds herself typing, "Coffee is safe." They meet 2 days later at a quiet cafe, nothing fancy, the kind of place where no one looks twice at who sits at which table. He is already there when she arrives, dressed casually, no suit, no polished edges. "Thank you for coming," he says. "Thank you for not turning this into something complicated," she replies. They talk easily, about work, about routines, about things they did not say at the party. He listens the same way he did that night, fully, without interruption. It feels normal, almost too normal. As they stand to leave, a voice interrupts them. "Excuse me." A woman nearby looks at him, eyes narrowing slightly. Recognition flashes across her face. "You were at the gala last month," she says. "You are—" He cuts her off smoothly, politely. "I am sorry. I think you have me confused with someone else." The woman hesitates, embarrassed, then nods and walks away. She watches him closely as they step outside. "That happens often?" she asks. "More than I like," he admits. She stops walking. "You are not just avoiding questions, are you?" He does not answer right away. "I did not lie to you," he says finally, "but I did not tell you everything either." Her chest tightens. About what? About who I am, and what comes with it. She considers this, weighing her words carefully. "I did not agree to be part of a secret." "I know," he says. "That is why I am telling you now." He takes a breath. "I run a company. It is large, public, and it complicates things." She studies him, seeing the pieces click into place, the looks, the respect, the expectations. "So the fake relationship," she says slowly, "was not just about convenience." "No," he admits. "It was about control." She lets that settle. "And coffee?" she asks. That was real, he says. Entirely. She nods once. Then we are going to need clearer rules. A faint smile appears. I was hoping you would say that. As they part ways, she realizes something has shifted. This is no longer about pretending. It is about whether she is willing to step into a world that comes with weight, visibility, and consequences, and whether he is willing to meet her without hiding behind any of it. The rules change quietly, without ceremony. They do not announce it. They do not label it. It simply happens somewhere between the second coffee and the third conversation that goes longer than planned. They begin meeting in spaces that do not demand performance. A bookstore near the park. A small diner with cracked vinyl booths and strong coffee. Places where no one recognizes him and no one looks twice at her. At first, they keep things careful. No public events, no introductions, no assumptions. But the distance between them shortens anyway. One evening, rain traps them under the narrow awning outside the diner. The street glistens, headlights stretching into long reflections on wet pavement. She hugs her jacket closer, shivering slightly. "You can sit in my car until it passes," he offers. She hesitates, then nods. Inside, the quiet feels different, enclosed, intimate in a way neither of them comments on. The rain drums steadily against the roof. "This is usually where things get complicated," she says softly. He does not look at her right away. "Only if we let them." She studies his profile, the way his jaw tightens when he is thinking, the way he seems more at ease here than in any room full of people. "Why does visibility bother you so much?" she asks. He exhales slowly. "Because it turns moments into transactions. People do not ask how you are. They ask what you can do for them." "And with me?" she asks. He meets her eyes. "You never asked for anything." Silence settles between them, heavy but not uncomfortable. She breaks it. "I am not invisible, you know. I just learned how to take up less space." He frowns slightly. "You should not have to." "That is easy to say when the world already makes room for you," she replies, not accusing, just honest. He nods. "That is fair." He shifts in his seat, the guard slipping just enough to reveal something underneath. "I learned early that closeness comes with conditions, expectations. It is easier to keep things controlled." "And fake," she says gently. "Yes," he admits. "Fake is predictable." She considers that. "Real is not." "No," he agrees. "Real is risk." The rain lightens. The moment stretches. She realizes how close they are sitting now, how aware she is of his presence. Not overwhelming, just there. "This is where we stop, right?" she asks, before lines blur. He does not answer immediately. "Do you want to?" he asks instead. The question catches her off guard. She searches herself for the truth and finds it faster than she expected. "No." He nods slowly. "Neither do I." They do not kiss. Not then. The restraint matters. It keeps the moment grounded, intentional. When the rain finally stops, neither of them moves right away. Later, as weeks pass, the world begins to intrude. A call he does not answer while with her. A message he reads and deletes. Tension she feels, but does not yet understand. One night, walking her to her building, he stops short. "There is something you should know," he says. She braces herself. "About the company?" "About what comes next," he replies. "There will be a public event soon. I cannot avoid it. And if you are with me, even just near me, people will look." She meets his gaze. "Are you asking me to hide?" "No," he says firmly. "I am asking you to choose, before the world does it for us." She nods, appreciating the honesty. "Then here are my conditions," she says. "No surprises, no half-truths, and if this stops feeling right, we stop." "Agreed," he says without hesitation. They stand there, the city quiet around them. This is no longer an arrangement, it is a decision, and both of them know that the next step will test everything they have been carefully building in private. The event arrives faster than she expects. The invitation is heavy cardstock, cream with gold lettering, her name printed beneath his. A charity gala downtown, formal, public, unavoidable. She stands in front of her mirror longer than usual that night, smoothing the fabric of her dress, steadying her breath. This is not a costume. She refuses to let it be one. Still, She is acutely aware that rooms like this were not built with people like her in mind. When she steps out of the car beside him, flashes ignite instantly. Cameras. Voices calling his name. He places a hand at the small of her back, grounding but not possessive. "Remember," he says quietly, "you can leave whenever you want." She nods. "So can you." Inside, the room hums with money and influence. Crystal glasses clink. Laughter floats too easily. She feels eyes on her almost immediately. Curious, measuring, assessing where she fits. At first, it is manageable. Introductions are polite. Compliments are surface level. People smile at her, then look past her to him. He notices, every time. "You do not owe anyone anything," he murmurs when one conversation stretches too long. Before she can respond, a familiar voice cuts in. "Well," the woman says smoothly, stepping into their space, "this is unexpected." The tone is pleasant, the intent is not. The woman is elegant, perfectly composed, her smile sharp with history. She knows him, knows his world. "I did not realize you were bringing someone like this," she continues, eyes flicking to her dress, her posture, her lack of pedigree. Silence tightens around them. He stiffens. "This is not appropriate." "Oh, relax," the woman replies lightly. "I am just surprised. We were all under the impression that you valued discretion." She feels it then, the shift, the room leaning in without seeming to. "I suppose this explains the rumors," the woman adds. "The bachelorette party, the sudden appearances, a convenient arrangement." Her stomach drops. "Excuse me?" she asks, keeping her voice steady. The woman tilts her head. "You did not know? He has a habit of staging relationships when it suits him." The words land hard. She turns to him slowly. "Is that true?" He opens his mouth, then closes it. Not because the accusation is fully true, but because there is enough truth tangled in it to matter. The pause is answer enough. "I told you there would be consequences," the woman says softly. "This is one of them." Heat floods her chest. Embarrassment, anger, something sharper beneath it. "So this was always going to happen," she says to him, "no matter what I chose." "No," he says quickly, "that is not fair." "But you knew this world would do this," she replies, "and you brought me anyway." The room feels too small now, too watchful. She takes a step back. "I asked for no half-truths." "I was trying to protect you," he says. "By letting someone else define me?" she asks. "By letting them decide what I am to you?" He reaches for her hand. She pulls away. "That is not protection," she says. "That is control." Whispers ripple around them. Phones tilt. The moment is already becoming something else. "I cannot do this," she says, voice low but firm. "Not like this." She turns and walks away, heels steady despite the weight pressing down on her chest. She does not run. She does not look back. Behind her, the room erupts in quiet speculation. He stands frozen, watching the woman who just chose her dignity over his world. And for the first time, he understands what it actually costs to keep things safe, contained, and controlled. It costs the one thing he did not want to lose: her. The fallout does not end at the gala. By morning, the whispers have hardened into headlines. Not front page, but close enough. Speculation dressed up as concern, commentary framed as curiosity. Her name is not printed, but the implications are clear enough for anyone who was in that room. She turns her phone face down and goes to work anyway. She refuses to hide. Across the city, he cancels everything. Meetings, calls, appearances. He listens as advisors urge damage control, suggest statements, recommend distance. Every solution sounds the same. Quiet it down, let it pass, protect the brand. He thinks of her walking away without raising her voice, without pleading, without asking for anything. That is when he realizes what he has not done yet. He finds her 2 days later, not at home, not at work, but where she always goes when she needs clarity. A small public park tucked between brick buildings, benches worn smooth by time. She sits with a coffee, staring at nothing in particular. He does not approach right away. When he finally does, he stops several feet away, leaving her space. "I am not here to explain," he says. "I am here to take responsibility." She looks up, guarded. Those usually sound the same. I know, he replies. That is why I am not asking you to listen. I am asking you to watch. He gestures behind him. Across the park, people begin gathering. Not reporters, not executives. Staff from his company. Volunteers from the foundation. People she recognizes from the diner, the bookstore, the neighborhood places he never pretended to belong to. Confusion flickers across her face. What is this? She asks. This is me choosing, he says, publicly, without conditions. He steps forward, raising his voice just enough to carry. I let other people define you, he says, not looking away from her. I let them frame your worth through my world instead of standing between you and it. That was wrong. The people behind him fall silent. I am not issuing a statement, he continues. I am not correcting a narrative. I am saying this here because it matters where you stand when you say the truth. He reaches into his pocket and pulls out nothing. No ring, no contract, no symbolic gesture that can be mistaken for control. I am not asking you to come back to me, he says. I am asking you to know this. There is no arrangement anymore. No advantage, no protection, just a choice. She stands slowly, heart pounding. You could have done this quietly, she says. Yes, he admits, and it would have meant nothing. He looks at the small crowd. If anyone here believes I brought her into my life as a strategy, you are wrong. If anyone believes she needed my world to matter, you are wrong. Then he looks back at her. I needed her honesty more than she ever needed my name. The silence stretches. She feels it then. Not pressure, not performance, relief. You are finally standing where I can see you, she says. He nods. And I will stand there whether you choose me or not. She takes a step closer. This does not erase what happened, she says. It does not fix everything. I know, he replies. It just makes the next step possible. She looks around, at the faces, at the openness of it, at the lack of escape routes. Then she makes her choice. Then we start here, she says, as equals, no hiding. A breath releases from him that he did not realize he was holding. There is no kiss, no applause. Just two people standing in the open, with nothing left to pretend. And for the first time since that night at the Bachelorette party, the world watches them without deciding for them. The final choice belongs to her, and she is not walking away this time. The world does not rush them after that. There are no grand headlines, no dramatic reversals overnight, just time, unfolding the way it always does when something real is allowed to breathe. They begin again, slowly, not in ballrooms or boardrooms, but in ordinary places. Morning walks before work, quiet dinners where no one is watching, conversations that are not about fixing the past, but about understanding it. He stops hiding, even when it costs him. He brings her into rooms without rehearsing her role. He introduces her without qualifiers, without explanations. When questions come, he answers them plainly. When judgments follow, he lets them land where they may. She does not shrink to make it easier. She does not borrow his confidence or wear his world like armor. She shows up as herself, steady and unpolished, trusting that being seen is no longer a negotiation. People adjust, or they do not. It no longer matters. One evening, months later, they return to the place where everything began. The same building, the same street. The lights softer now, less frantic. There is another celebration inside, another group laughing too loudly, unaware of the quiet history standing just outside. She pauses at the entrance. This is where you kissed me without asking, she says, a hint of a smile in her voice. He exhales. I know. You still regret it? Yes, he says honestly. And I am still grateful it brought us here. She turns to face him fully. If it happened again, you would ask. I would, he says, and I would wait. That answer matters more than anything else. They walk inside, not as a statement, not as a performance, just together. Later, when the night winds down, he leads her to a quieter space, away from the noise. There is no crowd, no audience, just the hum of the city outside and the weight of everything they have learned. I never wanted a contract, she says softly. I wanted a choice. He nods. Then choose. He does not kneel. He does not produce a ring. He does not make a speech that demands an answer. He takes her hands, steady and warm. "I choose you," he says, without protection, without control, without pretending. Her throat tightens. "I choose you too," she replies, "as you are, not as the world sees you." They stand there for a moment, letting the simplicity of it settle. This time, when he leans in, he does not take. He asks. She answers by closing the distance herself. The kiss is nothing like the first one. No urgency, no witnesses, just intention. Outside, life moves on. Inside, something quiet and permanent takes root. Their story does not end with a contract signed or a promise shouted into a crowd. It ends with two people who learn that love does not begin when someone steps in to save you. It begins when both of you step forward, willingly, and stay. And that night, where a stranger once pulled her into a kiss, becomes what it was always meant to be, not a performance, but the first step towards something real.